Thank you. Thank you for being here. Listening to the voice of the people, I can't help reflecting that actually this is where we did our first rehearsal for the King's speech. The last time I was here was before my accession to the throne, and I think we can consider this my abdication announcement. But clearly this is an event to launch a book. The book, as Jamie has just told you, was inspired by an event, very much like this one. And that event was inspired by a series of events which are taking place across the United States over the last few years. And those events were inspired by a book, which was inspired by another book, which was inspired by just about every event which has taken place in the history of the United States. The book is, in fact, Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States of America. And in writing that book, Howard established himself as a voice for the kind of people who don't normally make their way into the history books, the agitators, the subversives, basically the troublemakers of history. And he said that we should never accept the memory of nations as our own. And he wanted to explore the discovery of America from the point of view of the Arawaks, and the Constitution from the point of view of the slaves, and the rise of industry from the point of view of the women working in the textile mills in the 1830s. Those people made it into Howard's book, but Howard's book had a lot of trouble making it onto the curricula of various schools and colleges for many years. Unlike most textbooks, instead of ending on page 8,000 and boring students rigid in the classroom, it became an instrument for these voices quite literally to be heard in perpetuity through a relay of events such as this one. Howard's friend, publisher, fellow writer, Anthony Arnove, with Howard harvested a lot of the words of these people, literally many hundreds of them, put them into a book and into the mouths of actors, singers, writers, anybody who was willing, which proved to be a very considerable number. And at this point, I intruded on the exercise, having discovered it in America. And at a loss to know how to dispose of me, Anthony decided to export me and the whole project to the United Kingdom to see if we could find an English equivalent, and then possibly go on to take over the entire world. And this is probably just a small step to that end. My hope is that this will affect you in the way that it affected me when I first saw it, which was not just a salute to the courage of our predecessors, but also a reflection on where we ourselves stand in the narrative. It's a reminder that, as Howard said, democracy works from the bottom up. The entitlements, the rights that we enjoy today, not so long ago were outside the law. They were crimes, and they were punished as crimes. And that there are still people working inside the law all the time to try to inhibit those rights, to try to reduce them, try to compromise them. And we have the option to maintain them, protect them, expand them, or by doing nothing, simply to lose them. And the people that follow us in the following generations will live with the choice we make. And as Howard said, you can't be neutral on a moving train. As to the virtues of our performers, I won't trail those. They will be all too clear to you. I would just like to, my cup runneth with gratitude in just about every direction, so I won't saturate you with that, but I will add mine to everything that Jamie has expressed. Add Jamie to that list. Somebody said the other day, this really struck me, that teaching is a gesture of serial non-abandonment of you. And with that in mind, I'd like to thank my teachers, Anthony Arnove, Miles Taylor, and David Horspool. And you'll be surprised to hear me say this, I think this evening, but the best history teacher I ever had, my dad. And with that, I would just let you know that in the interest of brevity, we've decided to keep this evening to 500 years. There will be no interval, and so I hope you've been to the washrooms, because we can't have you running out to relieve yourselves in the middle of the 18th century. Sorry to be so authoritarian. Have a wonderful evening. Right.